I want to talk about a third metric called the PCE. That's the Personal Consumption Expenditure. This is kind of the golden child that the Fed uses to gauge inflation. It's very similar to CPI. But again, they're looking at a basket of goods and seeing how the change in price of that basket of goods occurs over time. But while CPI only looks at kind of out-of-pocket expenses, PCE is far more broad. It captures like substitution effects. If one product is becoming more expensive and they see a lot of consumers switching to another product that fulfills that same need, that they're capturing that change occurring as well.
Okay. So PCE, the Fed's preferred inflation measure. It's a little bit more dynamic, a little smarter, I guess, not as static.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have PPI and CPI, which are essentially PPI is like wholesale.
Yep.
And then CPI is retail, if you were to look at it that way, or look at it in terms of like mortgage capital markets, right? CPI is like the rate that the borrower pays or the price that the borrower pays. And the PPI might be the secondary market price, right? The price you sell a loan to an investor, to a wholesale lender, or to a security. There could be a profit margin between CPI and PPI. So that's how those two could interact right over time with each other. Is it just the consumer that's paying more, like during the pandemic, where maybe producer prices weren't moving so much, but it was easy to kind of hike prices on borrowers or on consumers buying whatever, or vice versa? As the economy tightens a little bit, do producers have to lower their prices a little bit? So even if producer prices are sticking or rising, they have to let the consumer price drop a little bit to create kind of stoke a little bit more demand.
Yeah, there's an ever so slight correlation between the two, where they see that PPI leads CPI ever so slightly. And as a consumer in the economy, you can think before you go to Costco and get all your groceries or whatever you might get there, Costco has to pay for that item. And PPI is what, Costco and the people bringing everything into the country are paying for things.